The way we want to do it is two things. We want to make sure that if they commit, and if the Quebecers commit to invest in those doctors, they need to know ahead of time, over 6 years, 8 years, then when they finish their study, that they will be committed to 5 years. That's very clear. If they're committing to do it, and at the end they change their mind, but the consequences will be very expensive.
But for those who are already students, for those who are already studying medicine at the moment, you mentioned that you'd still like this to apply to them as well, people who are already in the education system.
Well, we'll find a way. That's the reason the question I was asked before. When we do a bylaw, as we do a bill right now, we give the principle. We say this is where we want to go. We want to reinforce the public system. Now, how are we going to implement it? I think it goes by rules. Those are the règlements. And I think those règlements... Regulation? Thank you.
Okay. I understand that part, but why would it be important for you to apply it to these students as well? This isn't exactly what they signed up for when they went to medical school, right?
Yeah,
so why include
But
them?
I think there is a principle that I think most of them would agree that they need to practice. Sometimes you do bills, you do des projets de loi for those maybe that don't want to respect the rules. So this is the sort of discussion we'll have.
Definitely for the new doctors, you want to impose a sense of social duty.
Yes, it's very clear. I think that the issue that we have, and we have that with the doctors, we have that with the nurses, and this is the reason we went after the agencies. Right, you know, the nurses could go without, making sure that they can go in an agency and practice the private. Nobody said that was not the right thing that we did. We have made very clear that they should come back into the public system, and that's exactly what we want to do with the doctors as well.
The college, the College of Physicians had asked for a 10-year period. Why? How did you establish that it would be 5 years? How did you?
To me, it's a minimum, very clear. And I think when we go in the discussion in the commission parlementaire, we'll have those discussions. I think, and I was saying to one of your colleagues, the Collège des médecins has asked many more measures. Remember when we said that was our intent? The following day, they were ready, and I think that will be the best time in February, after people have had the chance to talk about that.
And how many did you say you meant Quebec doctors working in Ontario who were trained here? Can you repeat those numbers for us?
Oh, if you look at the last 20 years, that roughly, and this is what Madame Mercier, and I said thank you for correcting me for the right media, but what she said that currently there are over 2,300 doctors that practice in Ontario that were formed in Quebec, in our best universities.
Do you know the number for the States?
I don't know. That's something that we can look at.
The 6-month suspension, what is it related to? When you break the contract, in the bill it says 6 months suspension. What is it exactly?
Well, I think well, I would say that I'm getting into the details, but it's really a minimum of practice that we want to make sure. I think it could be more than that, but it's a minimum of practice.
A minimum of practice of what? Can you be more clear?
No, because I think that's an indication of a minimum that we want to do, but I think it could be much bigger.
I just want to summarize one last thing. What makes you think
I know
that...
you want a lot of details.
No, but what makes you think that doctors will be okay with this measure, that upcoming doctors are going to be okay with the idea of practicing in the public, potentially gaining less money? What do you...
Well, I think the greater proportion of doctors will be in agreement. We have between 25 and 50 doctors that within their first 5 years go directly to the private sector. And we form roughly now 1,100. So I'm just saying that I think it's to protect the one that do this sort of transfer. I would say the greater majority don't need that bylaw, but I think we're just aiming at the one that within the first 5 years are going to the private. We need them in public. That's the message.